So everything I'm going to be talking about right now is kind of like a minor complaint. These aren't necessarily big issues in themselves. It's just that it's been a compound thing, right? When I have people that are in the DMs asking where things are at or how things are going along, it tends to be the people that do this to me the most are the people who, when I'm ready to do something, tend to not be ready. Um, Whole bunch of shit, like a whole bunch of small shit happened this weekend. Yesterday it wound up being like a fucking disaster. Like nothing, I feel like nothing got done. Some shit got done, but not as nowhere near as much as should have been. Um, I have an oil pump that I got last month that needed work. It was a B series pump that was clearly used. It was sent to me to port. Am I opposed to porting and shimming somebody else's oil pump? No, I'm not. I just charge you labor. That's fine. So I get this oil pump and I immediately take off the cover to go and inspect it. The clearances are fine, so don't really think much of it. There's some scrapage and shit going on inside there, but that's not necessarily uncommon for an old oil pump to pick up debris, whatever. So port the damn thing, get it all the way down to where it just needs to be shimmed and ready to go. So I tell the guy, yeah, my bad, I was delayed. I should have got it out already. I just need to cut your shim and ready to go. So I do that, go to put everything back together, lube up the gears, put the pump back together, and do my last check, and try to spin it, and it doesn't spin. The pump gets locked up. So that should have been my first check, and it wasn't. So I fucked up, right? So I was already behind schedule on getting this pump out, and now that happens, right? So now I gotta fucking take this pump apart and start trying to figure out where it is exactly the problem is getting bound up. So after doing a whole bunch more work to the housing to make sure that the pump body itself is fine, I eventually get to the point where now I'm taking the gears and spinning them free of the pump to find out where it's getting caught, because it's still getting caught in two spots. Turns out the gears are no good. All right, wow. So that's a pump that should have been, it's not even a high paying job. It's a low paying job. Turned into a big ass fucking headache, and mainly it turned into a headache because I didn't do that as my very first check. Before I took that fucking pump apart to check the clearances, that should have been the first fucking thing I did, and I didn't do it, and now I'm suffering for it. And now I've got a guy who's expecting a pump back, and there's a fucking problem. All right, so what else am I gonna do? All right, well, the S2000's engine is complete. I literally just need to put RTV on the valve cover and lock it in place. That's it, and then I can load up the engine in the back of my car and take it, get ready to get back in. Well, you guys seen that I stripped it. You saw I was complaining about the stripping of the valve cover, right? The S2000 valve cover was an enormous pain in the ass to strip because of that stupid ass shitty Crayola fucking waxy paint that somebody put on there, right? So I finally, after a couple days of working on it to get all this fucking old paint off, or enough of it off where it's not that big a deal, and then I go to spray it. Now I have one can of VHC Wrinkle Red that I've been sitting on for the longest time. And that being my key problem. I sat on it for way too long. I go to start spraying this shit, it spits, it sputters, it give me a couple of clean passes, and then it just seized up. So now I have this fucking valve cover that looks completely fucking disgusting, right? And a little thing, as in just literally put RTV and put the fucking valve cover on, has now become a mission, because the fucking thing looks like somebody diarrhea exploded on the valve cover. So now I have to strip it again, clean it again, and put it on there. Now, another thing being, right, so I go to put I dug out the crank that I needed for the single cam, clean everything up, take my measurements, make sure we're good to go. All right, getting ready to start the assembly process. Go to get my pistons and rods out to get this job underway, and no C-clips for the pistons. Now, I knew that this was a thing. I knew that, I spoke to the boss man ahead of time. He's like, hey, look, the C-clips are gonna come separate. Just wanted to make sure that when you got the box and you opened them and you didn't see them, that it wouldn't be a big deal. I got you. Now, it's been so long that haven't gone to the shop, done the machine work, to come back to me, get time to get to it, start to get to it, no C-clips. Now I'm going through all my boxes. I'm like, yo, did I get these C-clips and I fucking lose them? The boxes are still here, but I don't see them. Back to the source, like, hey, now again, like I said, not a big deal, whatever, small correction. Even if I did lose them, which I don't think I did, I'll buy another set, big fucking deal. But now, gotta wait more days, right? So, also, I have a head, that I got cleaned. I made sure that I scrambled to get everything stripped down and ready to the machine shop so it would be clean by the weekend. It was clean by the weekend. The weekend comes back. Parts I ordered for it didn't come in time. It's like, okay, not a big deal. The valve seals didn't come anyway, so I still need time to wait for the valve seals before I can do anything. I get home, valve seals are delivered, go get them out the mailbox. All right, the box of springs and shit were on the table, but I didn't really take them out of the box and take a look at it. Now let's get ready to start assembling this fucking head, take everything out of the box, and missing seats and retainers. So, wow, a whole bunch of shit that should have been done, or at least should have been underway, nothing got done. The fucking oil pump didn't get done. Valve cover and completing the engine to ship to take it over to the shop didn't get done. Starting on proper assembly, for that single cam didn't get done. This head didn't get done. All stuff that needs to get ordered again. All stuff that needs to get ordered or sorted out to figure out where these parts are supposed to be at. I don't know. Now, I'll put that on top of that. A couple of you guys asked me for things. I got another guy. You know who you are. If you take offense to it, sorry, bro. But this is just my point of view on this shit, right? I think back when I went to go buy the S2000, right? I was selling the shit that I had. I put discounts on the things I had to get them sold, right? To get them out. So that way I could make up for the money that I was spending on the S2000, right? So I do that. Most of the transactions for that time, they went smooth. People came, paid their money, picked up and went. One of the guys was making payments on a CSS block. Not a big deal. Got no problem making payments on things. The guy decides he wants to change his mind, and now he wants to not just buy the bare block for me to ship to him, but he wants me to assemble the block. Right? Tells me that he's going to take my full advice on what the build is because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just going to take my advice, but then immediately questions everything that I offer. Right? And there was a one point in time where I considered, ordering a separate block to have CSS so I don't have to ship it back to the machine shop and all that shit. But I decided, no, this is the block that he's paying for. This is the block I'm going to send out. So go to find pistons, right? Again, doesn't want to take my advice on what he could do for the build. He wants a very specific thing. So I go out of my way to find a very specific thing and then forgets what I ordered. Go to send it out and then get it back. And then it's like, hey, we need rods. We need a crank. And then disappear for a while for the holidays, come back, And now we fast forward for more time. We're now almost a year into the original transaction. Guy decides, hey, I'm not gonna do the bill with you anymore. Just send me what I have. So then it's like, well, where the final invoice, for the last little bit for oil pump I was pouring for him, and the price for the shipping. Now at this point in time, I'm back into the work week, right? I have all this shit that's starting to pile up, all these separate little problems that I got to deal with. I still got the regular 9-to-5 job that I have to deal with going to. Still got my family at home that I got to deal with. And then this guy is not happy with his shit. This guy's not happy with his shit. And when you're ready to move, I need you to move on my time and not your time. So now I have to stop what I'm doing to make time to go ship all these things when it was supposed to be something I was going to be building. And not to mention the fact that all this shit's been sitting in my house for the better part of a year, or nearly a year, that's been taking up space. So a little bit of pity for me, guys. Or not pity, don't pity me, but just a little bit of understanding goes a long way. I repeat this shit every once in a while, but it's just me. It's just one guy. Unfortunately, I'm not at a spot where I can just break away from my job and do this full time. I will say the guy that's getting this shit with the head, he did pay me in full, which is why I was really, trying to get to it, because I should have been able to. Or realistically speaking, there's no way I was going to finish this head by the time I need to go to sleep. But just to have it started, so that way in the next couple of days, I could put a couple hours on it here, a couple hours on it there until it's finished, right? So that way it could still ship possibly by midweek or by the end of the week at the latest. And I'm not saying this is a problem with everybody. It's just that you guys have to understand. I know I try my best to work with you on a budget. I'm always mindful of the fact that the majority of people that come to me are not coming to me because they have money to spend. They're coming to me because they know that I'm willing to take payments and that I'm working on you, and I'm going to work on a budget to try and get you try and get something good for you, but not break the bank. But it's hard, and also this month has brought to realization the fact that this is good side money, the building, but it's not nowhere near enough money for me to walk away. If I'm clearing like $1,000 in my pocket from my regular work week, and let's say let's just say I have 4 heads, that I have to do for the whole month, right? Um, Now, if I sell a head for $1,000, I'm generally speaking, I'm getting less than half of that as profit because most of it, the money is going towards the parts, right? So let's just say that I get less than half, right? Less than half $1,000, 400. Let's just say 400, right? So we're talking about $1,600 if I do 4 heads, and I've never done 4 heads in 1 month, right? So that's not even one full paycheck for me. That's not, well, and I get paid bi-weekly, so that's not even one bi-weekly paycheck for me. So I don't make nearly enough, I don't have nearly enough assembly jobs for me to be anywhere near to focus on it, right? So even like the only way I could do more is if I decided to quit and then every single day I could do building. But even if every single day I can do building, I'm not getting paid necessarily every week. Some of these jobs take several weeks to get done. And again, the argument would be that if I focus full time on it, maybe I can get it done faster. But then shit like happens with this weekend where it's just not coming in fast enough, so I'm not necessarily collecting money fast enough. So I've realized that no matter, well, not no matter how many jobs I take, but it comes to a finite point where doing the engine builds and the head building and all that stuff is just it's mainly for fun, and it's a decent side hustle, but it's nowhere near enough profit that I involved where I can step away from my job, which is why I've been talking about for years and years and years, selling parts is the key. But I don't sell enough parts either to be able to walk away from my job, which is why I really want to open up a local retail spot, because I think that if I can, because of the fact I'm a dealer and I can sell at the same price that you would buy on eBay, if I can open up a parts place locally, then I could, make the money from people who don't want to wait and then also don't want to pay markup, because I wouldn't be, buying off eBay for, let's just say, $250 and then selling it for $280 just because I need to mark up to make the money. That's the benefit of being a dealer. I can still sell it at retail price. And at the end of the day, the retailer, the supplier, is still getting their cut because, I'm buying through them. So, if you want to come through me, generally speaking, and I can give you a decent estimation time, but it's never 100% guaranteed what it is, just because little things happen here and there. The only thing I can say is that I try to stay communicative with you guys, and if generally speaking, if it is something that happens that's my fault, that if it's an oversight in my thing, then I will try to make up with it for a discount if it's a big purchase, or if it's a smaller purchase, a discount on something else that you may want to buy from me later that's like off the shelf, so there's no wait time. But anyway, it's just some little frustrating shit, guys. Some frustrating shit that I've been dealing with this weekend. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. Generally speaking, when something happens on the weekend, if something goes bad with a job, a lot of times I can pivot and do something else and say, well, okay, this didn't get done, but I can address it, and then this got done in the meantime. But everything I touched turned to shit this weekend, so nothing got fucking done. Yeah. So if you're one of these guys that are with me right now, that you got a current build that you're waiting for, something you're waiting for, I didn't send out updates yesterday because I spent a lot of extra time yesterday or Sunday night going into Monday morning. I spent as much time as I could on everything until I literally ran out of shit to do. Like, I can literally do nothing else at this point but wait. And then rolling over into Monday, I had to ask questions, and I'm waiting for an answer back. So I didn't really have anything to report because I didn't have an answer yet on what I was trying to do. I'm still trying to find solutions to things. And of course, then I'm rolling back into my regular job, dealing with that frustrations at that place, and then trying to figure out as I'm working what the fuck I'm going to do to get this situation solved. So now it's like, 5 something in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, some shit like that. And I gotta wait. I'm gonna go to bed soon, and then when I wake up to get my kids from school, then I gotta start sending messages out and find out what I can do about getting these parts in. And it's still gonna be, even if shit got shipped out today, we're talking about a minimum at best 3 more days before I get parts in. So now it looks like some shit's gonna get pushed back to the weekend, and there really just isn't much I can do about that, guys. So I'm sorry. All right, guys. I don't know who the fuck listens to this shit all the way through, but this is just, I guess it's really relevant if you got something with me right now you're waiting on. Appreciate the patience for those of you guys that have it. And yeah.